December 22nd, 2013. We ended the first part of this, guys, talking about the chimaerin. It's a symbolic animal or deity that has to do with genetic coding, hybrid monsters, and evil and demonic spirits. So pay attention. And it comes out of the bottomless pit, this locust army, and it traces through the scorpion kings of Egypt. But the bottomless pit is not Mount Hermon in the place that Azazel was locked up by Raphael. It's a different place. It talks about a place of disembodied spirits. And it was said they were wicked, vicious, unclean, and have the power to derange both mind and body. In Matthew, Luke, it says they are familiar spirits of the Old Testament and the seducing spirits of which Paul warned Timothy of. They wander about in desolate places. Christ used them to illustrate the condition of the Jewish people in the last days when the demonical power shall be increased over them sevenfold. He said, when the unclean spirit or demon is gone out of a man, the demon walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and findeth none. Then he saith, I will return into my house from whence I come out. And when he come, he findeth it empty, swept, and garnished. That's the condition of your soul. Is it empty, guys? Then he goeth and he taketh with him seven other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter in and dwell there. And the last state of that man is worse than the first. You've got to have the seal of God. You cannot be empty, an empty vessel. It says, when the star angel opened the bottomless pit, the smoke, like the smoke of a great furnace, issues forth and darkens the sun. And out there came as this locust army, guys. But they were not ordinary locusts, and they weren't the locusts of the eighth Egyptian plague. The locusts that John saw come out of the bottomless pit were of infernal cherubim. They were a combination of horse, man, the woman, the lion, and the scorpion. Sounds of their wings and flying was the sound of chariots running to the battle. Now, they did not hurt the grass or the trees, but only afflict men, and that's because they have intelligence, for they afflicted only the men who do not have the seal of God, the ones that have the mark of the beast, the empty vessels. These men were not permitted to be killed or only tormented, and for a limited time, remember 5 months, the time of an ordinary locust, which is from May to September. The length is time mentioned twice. Now, this sting of the scorpion, which is going to be a demonic possession, is so excruciating that it causes the afflicted person to desire to die. It will, but they shall seek death and desire to die, but death shall flee from them. That's an inference to that the locusts or demon controlling them shall have power to prevent death, and that you've seen this before, and when they talk about this possession, guys. But if you go into Enoch, it says, thence I went into another place, and he showed me in the west another great and high mountain of hard rock. This is, and it says, there's four hollow places deep there. These are separating the people that have died with the good spirits and the people that have died with the evil spirits. Pay attention. Now let's go to Enoch 15. And he answered me and said to me, and I heard his voice, Fear not, Enoch, thou righteous man and scribe of righteousness. Approach hither and hear my voice, and go say to the watchers of heaven, who have sent thee to intercede for them. He said, you should intercede for men and not men for you. He talking to the fallen angels. Wherefore you have left the high, holy, and eternal heaven, and laden with women, and defiled yourselves with the daughters of men, and taken to yourselves wives, and done like the children of earth, and begotten giants as your sons. Guys, it goes on, it says, the evil spirits have proceeded from their bodies, because they are born from men and from the holy watchers. It's their, and it's because of their beginning and primal origin. They shall be evil spirits on earth. Evil spirits shall they be called. This is the locust army. As for the spirits of heaven, and heaven shall be their dwelling, but spirits of the earth which were born upon the earth shall be their dwelling. And these spirits shall rise up against the children of men and against the women, because they have proceeded from them. This is the warning from Enoch. This is why Enoch was taken out, because it complemented Revelation 9 so perfectly. But God put it back. Again, the book of Enoch, guys, was found in the Dead Sea Scrolls. Trace it back and look it up in Look it up on Wikipedia. From the Essenes, and much of the Old Testament was there. But again, the spirits of the giants afflict, oppress, destroy, attack, do battle, and work destruction on the earth and cause trouble. They take no food, but nevertheless hunger and thirst and cause offenses. And these spirits shall rise against the children, men, and against the women, because they have preceded them. Is this starting to make sense, guys? What we're going to be dealing with? We're going to be dealing with a demonic, evil entities. This army, they will have 5 months only to inflict the people that have the mark of the beast, who are not sealed by God. And you're going to be sealed by believing in Jesus Christ and believing in the Word. Now, this location they're talking about, Christ talked about it too. Now they call it Jerash. It was the ancient Jerusha, or the ancient Greek capital, the government. And guys, this was in Jordan. You see the map below this, and it was a Roman city, and this was one of the places where they had the big chariot races. It was the temple of Jupiter. Now Christ went here, and it says as they arrived at the country of the Gadarenes, that's this place, you can trace it, which is over against Galilee. And when he went forth to the land, they met him out of the city a certain man which had devils a long time. When he saw Jesus, he cried out and fell down before him with a loud voice, said, What have I done with thee, Jesus, Son of God Most High? I beseech thee, torment me not. For he commanded the unclean spirit to come out of the man. For oftentimes it had caught him, was kept bound with chains and fetters, and it brake the bands, was driven of the devil into the wilderness. And Jesus said, What is thy name? And he said, I am Legion, because many devils had entered him. Guys, this is where Christ was, and the the devil asked him, the spirit said, Don't cast me into the abyss. He's talking about the bottomless pit. You can trace that, okay? He'd rather be thrown into the swine and the swines run into the lake than go into this abyss where these spirits are going to be coming out of. But this traces this location to the worship of Jupiter. And his symbol was an eagle holding arrows. You understand what I'm saying? Arrows clutched in the eagle's hand was Jupiter's symbol. That traces back to Adad here, who also his symbol, he's clutching these lightning bolts in his hand. This is Apollyon 666. I traced it back and showed you this goes back to Anu, Adad, and the Anunnaki. That's the number 666. Look at that video. The angel of the bottomless pit, Apollyon, Revelation 9. So the god of weather, hurricane, storm, thunder, and rain. It goes back into Sumerian to Marduk, the leader of the fallen angels, again, that came down and seduced the women. But those spirits of those giants, if you pause some of this that I didn't read and you do your research, they're trapped, and the spirits of their offspring are trapped. This is the Locust army. The only means of defense that you will have is the seal of God. Remember on Brother Paul's show when Mike called in and said, even the people in the upper echelons of power know there is no defense against some of these entities? That's because they're supernatural. Heads up, be safe.